All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course, where I will start it and then pause it to make sure that the video is loading. It appears to be. I don't want to watch myself because it might distract me. Chat is moving, so everything seems to be nominal. We've got some good shit to cover today. Some things about Harris, fire NATO's, Trump, polling, and much, much more. I was going to cover the Paris arson attacks, actually. They disabled the whole rail system, but we don't have perps in most of those cases yet, so I'll update people later. So, yeah, plenty of news to cover. Of course, the merch sponsors get shouted out. By the way, big shout out to Cultivated Mind, first and foremost, because I've got more of the mushroom pills. Sent me a couple of bottles. There's a different formulation for the nootropic, the Brain 2. The old one had butterfly peas and ashwagandha. The new one dropped that in favor of oyster mushroom extract, actually. So that formulation has changed. Then I've got the immune review. And yeah, I'm getting more coffee soon. Jam and Bean saying that they're going to send me some various blends to test, actually. So I'm very, very happy at the moment. And there's a lot going on. I think my mom just pulled in, actually, which is interesting timing. Just got off work, I suppose. We'll be talking about all sorts of stuff today. So if you want to send super chats, you can. Just please keep in mind, I may not always be able to read out super chats or Rumble rants unless they're at least at the $10 level, because there's so many of them. Because, you know, 5,000 people might tune in, especially on a Saturday. Some people are probably still asleep at the moment. We'll get right into this, though. Oh, look at this. Trump was struck by a bullet in an assassination attempt. FBI says that's funny. 24 hours ago, Christopher Wray said he wasn't exactly sure. Oh, I don't know. It could have been shrapnel. It could have been a chunk of the podium or something like that. You know, the bullet ricocheted off the surface and something hit him in the ear, and that's how he got injured. Nope, no, it was the actual bullet. So the liberal talking point about him not having been actually physically shot is now kaput. It is shot itself. Predictable, because of the angle at which his head was at and the fact that there was literally nothing that possibly could have hit him in the ear other than the fucking bullet, or at least fragments of it. That was clear to begin with. Tony the Greaser. Sup, cats and chicks. Stay greasy and clank on. Crate Digger 81. Kamala always selected, never elected Harris. Let's make this name stick. Yeah, I mean, she is being selected by the DNC, although I would point out she does have the delegates. She was on the ticket. It's anti-democratic in one sense, but in the general sense, it's like, you know, who are you going to replace her with? At this point, you cede several states if you choose anyone else, so there's really nothing that the Democrats could have done. Jake Horvath. Good morning, sirs. Do the needful and call your state's congressman and demand the National Firearms Act be removed. Have a good day, sirs. Agreed. The NFA should die. Ryan Adams. Trump speaking at Bitcoin conference tonight. Thoughts? I think that's a reflection of Ramaswamy and his inner circle more than anything else. Trump probably doesn't know the first thing about crypto. He'll be briefed on it and he'll give his thoughts on it. I would point out, oh, this was interesting earlier, that the Democrats were crowing about the fact that the United States needed to leapfrog China with regards to crypto. That was a post just earlier, only a few hours ago. And I thought to myself, that's funny, Mr. Krasenstein. I think it was Krasenstein that posted it. Trump is literally going to the Bitcoin conference. You're late to the party, dude. Joshua Black. Hey, Sticks, do you know of any mythologies other than Beowulf that talk about the end of magic in the world? Off the top of my head, no, actually, come to think of it. Although I would note that Christendom basically believes in the same basic premise. Of course, God used to appear physically to people and impregnate them and stuff like that. Now he appears on toast and road signs in Mexico. Albin Jensen, you should have Willie reduction surgery. Make the 10.2 into 6.66. It is not actually a 10.2, as people that have seen it will attest to. It is closer to 6.66, actually, come to think of it. Normal penis. So yes, Trump was actually shot. The liberals who were crowing about the possibility that he wasn't, based on what Ray said and what the FBI initially said, are all let down. How very fucking sad. Yeah, no. His ear was facing away from anything that could have possibly shattered and been shot and moved in that direction. But it totally wasn't the bullet that we literally have a picture of whizzing by his ear. That makes a whole lot of sense. They really fucked up on that one. That'll be memory hold, by the way. Brandon Fairbanks. Bro, people are freaking out, bro. Are you concerned? India upside, findings new people to followings on Twitter. I'm not concerned at all. If anything, the fact that Biden, the incumbent, is out and Kamala, the psychopath, is in, actually calms me down. Byron8899. What's your thoughts on Trump meeting with Bibi in Mar-a-Lago? Is it positive or negative when it comes to U.S. election or Israel-Palestine? Well, we all know where he stands on the issue. It's Kamala that has the confusion there because she sort of waffled back and forth between Israel and Gaza, and she's being called out actually by even the legacy media for that at this point. I have no problem with Trump informally meeting with Netanyahu. Emperor Soft Turtle, the news Harris is dumb enough to spend money on 2,500 plus volunteers in Florida relaxes me. Florida's lost and it's been lost. Wasteful. Yeah, she's going to pull a DeSantis, it seems. Only DeSantis is on Team Trump now. Pablo Miel, great clanker. Thank you for the weekend stream. By the way, try planting asparagus. I do have some out there. Mine has grown like weeds. Have a great weekend. Yeah, mine got all leggy and weird. I tried to transplant some and only one of them took. So I still have a couple plants out there. I'm just going to get new crowns and start all over again. And I do want a bed of asparagus. Yeah. Shelly Babes, God loves you, Sticks. I thank you for that, although I'm apatheistic. You'd always use a little bit of love, though. Latest polling. Yeah, let's get to that. The polling has become extremely bipolar, especially if you look at Fox News. And it makes no sense whatsoever, actually. The first polling post-Harris had Trump at about the same speed as before, but now you've got new polling showing a Harris surge. We'll be getting to Kamala Harris as Dukakis later. I don't think that that's what's happening. I think it's more of the Kasich effect. Wisconsin, Trump v. Harris. Trump is somehow actually up by a point. In Michigan, it's a tie. That makes sense. It's been about tied the whole time. Pennsylvania tie. Minnesota, Harris +6. It's not a huge surprise. The state is in play, but it does lean blue. And then you've got Wisconsin in a 5-way, another tie. Trump up in Michigan in a 5-way, but down by 2 in Pennsylvania and by 6 in Minnesota, unchanged. Then you have general election Trump +2 and general election Harris +1. Then you look at Biden's job approval. Nobody gives a shit about that. The other day, you had additional polling, of course, on Friday. Trump +2 in a general, tied in a 5-way, which, again, makes absolutely no sense. And it's from Forbes Harris. It's the same polling firm. Harris +1 for Michigan in a 5-way, +6 in New Hampshire. I believe that one by St. Anselm, actually. Biden's disapproval again. Nobody gives a shit. In fact, I should look at the aggregate. What's his aggregated disapproval actually at now that he's dropped out? Oh, his approval actually rose by a couple of points by the fact that he decided to step aside. Why am I not surprised? Again, actually believable. We have very bipolar polling at the moment, and it doesn't always make sense. It depends on the firm. Some of them appear to be oversampling MAGA and or right-leaning independents, and others oversampling Democrats. It's all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. How can Trump have, surged ahead in Wisconsin, but and remained the same in some states, but then fallen massively behind in Minnesota, unless we assume that the prior polling is just outliers? I have a feeling there's shenanigans going on within the polling right now, and I have a feeling it's part of an attempt to fortify the election. I get the sneaking suspicion that that's what's happening right now. And it depends on whether it's a head-to-head or a 5-way race, of course. Also, you've got, and we'll talk about this separately, I disagree with the article that I'll reference with Harris being Dukakis 2.0. I think it's the Kasich effect. We'll explain what that means in a moment. Gavin Death, RFK Jr. for CIA or FBI head. No. He's a leftoid. I wouldn't approve of that. Fantech 0104, I think Wisconsin is back in play despite fortification. Yes, Wisconsin is in play, as well as all the other states that are polling within 5 points or thereabouts in the aggregate. Grevin Share, if we can't trust the Secret Service and FBI directors to assess something we all saw with our own eyes, how can we trust any poll? We cannot. No, and I don't trust any poll either. I trust aggregates. So go to RCP, look at the aggregate. That's what you need to do. Dutch West Films, told my social anxiety to fuck itself, volunteered for a congressional campaign. Liz Joy in 2022 started working at the polls. We should all do something to get involved. Agreed. Get to our sponsors in a minute, by the way, as well. I see that King of Biltong, Anton, is over there, over on Rumble. Good man. He supplies the tasty meat. Just got your check, by the way, Anton. Let's get to our sponsors, actually, before we continue. I might keep it a little bit short today. I'm going to be a bit more terse because it is a Saturday stream, and a lot of people are still in bed anyway. So this is for the benefit of you early birds. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get various mushroom pills. There's all sorts of formulations. I take one every morning. I'm going to be taking the Immune Renew one. What's this? Shaga, turkey tail, reishi, maitake, and shiitake extract, actually. So mushroom pills. And you can get them from cultivated-mind.com. And they do work for me. My immune system doesn't really need a boosting, but you can always use a little bit of extra energy. That's always a good thing. Combine it with caffeine, man, and give you a little bit of a rush. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, keychains, belt chains, engraved spoons, glassware, and more. All with the Ouroboros logo, clank, and other memes from the channel. We have BiltongUSA.com or AntonsUSA.com, the land of delicious meat. Yeah, suck on Anton's sweet meats. Yeah, slide that carbonasi right in there, boy. That's what you need to do. It is fucking delicious, by the way. Then the carbonasi is perfect, like for camping or something. Because when you're hiking around, because it's in link form, just eat it like jerky. But it's better than any jerky that you're ever going to eat. And use code STICKS, by the way, for 10%. For free shipping on the site. We've also got tumblers, cups, and shirts. WickedNeedleEmbroidery.BigCartel.com, the land of sticks, hex, and hammer hats. Several designs and colors are available there, of course. And you can get the offset logo, the central logo. I think the former was the one that people most wanted. Hundreds of people were like, oh my God. When I had the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer prototype hat, they're like, I need to get one. And I appreciate it. When you wear my logo anywhere, my power goes with you. And it's a pretty good thing. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, land of the seed survival bucket, as well as the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soapbox. There is another kind of soapbox coming soon. There's a new blend, actually, which will be for the ladies specifically. So, it's your girlfriend's birthday, get her a Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soapbox. You get laid, probably, or whatever. Webster'sWares.com/sticks-wares. You can get metal straws so that you save some sea turtles. You can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer flags. You can get blades with the Ouroboros on them, and they are good blades, by the way. Again, I sliced part of my finger at one point, digging it out of the box, and much, much more. You can also get Trump merchandise from Webster's Wares, among other things. They got various miscellaneous. They got little those fire starter kits and stuff like that. It's pretty great. Jamnbean.com, that is JAMNBean.com, land of the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer endorsed coffee and tea blends. Costa Rica blend, my favorite. They're going to be sending me out some more coffee, which I don't believe is publicly available yet, just to try. And I'll give them my opinion on that. So there might be new blends available soon. Who knows? Maybe one is even better than the Costa Rica blend. It's going to be a hard act to follow, though. So, again, this ain't Folgers. It's going to be difficult to supplant that. I had 2 cups of it this morning. Why do you think I'm so energetic? It's not just the mushroom pills. It's the caffeine, too. And finally, brickmuseum.com. Based in Bellaire, Ohio, you can go to their website and see their collection. They got all sorts of Lego stuff there. We're talking probably hundreds of Lego sets, all sorts of Lego paraphernalia. It's basically like I want to go there and just play around all day because, I was a Lego kid. So those are our sponsors. By the way, next week, readouts begin for a new sponsor, a corporate sponsor, actually. Yes, I've decided to partner with a gold and silver company and we'll be reading them out sometimes as well. I do not see this as selling out. It's more like I've been stacking silver for a while, so, you know, it's all good. Dick Dickerson, you said Harris and Dukakis in the same sentence. Yeah, she does Dukakis, yeah. Kaka and cock. Tommaso Patrick, I'm a naturalized citizen born and raised in Italy. Ooh, that means you have good fucking food in your family. I've always voted Republican since becoming a citizen. It's refreshing to see really smart people like Sticks on our side. Thank you very much for that, and please send, airmail some garlic bread or something like that. If you got a little old Italian grandma or mama or whatever it happens to be that likes to make, you know, spaghetti, I'm always amenable to these things. Alan Tenase. Sticks, when are you and Melanie Mack going to be on a quartercast together? I super chatted her stream and blessed her on behalf of Shiva, and she got upset. Lulz. That would be a good idea. I'll bring that up with the quartering. We can discuss dietary topics too, because of course I'm not a vegetarian. I do eat quite a bit of meat. I had a hot dog the other night from Five Guys. By the way, they have the best fries. I'm just saying, of all of the fast food places, Five Guys has the best fries. Just weighing in on that one. But I do eat a lot of vegetables too. I mean, I grow the huge garden for a reason. Dutch Schaefer. Sticks, are you still 99% sure in a Trump victory? Yes, I do believe so. The Happy Plague Doctor, in bed, I'm smoking a roast and trimming trees at my hobo shack out back by my garden. Solar-powered electric chainsaw and everything. I love my van. Sounds like a good day. Congratulations. Dan Malone sent $10. No comment. Thank you very much. And James, who else loves gold and silver? Rubs hands. Yes, no, I get the reference that you're making. I cannot elaborate further. No, I've been stacking silver for a while because I figure if shit really does hit the fan, fiat currency, I can use it as tinder. I can wipe my ass with it. I can use it as stitch it together and make a tablecloth or something. People might not accept it. If shit really hits the fan, or if inflation really goes off, precious metals I will personally vouch for, and I would not be striking this particular sponsorship deal unless I stacked silver. I would not be doing that unless I actually cared about what the company is selling. I'm never going to pitch anything to anyone that I don't personally own and do business with. It's just like with biltong. I eat it. Mushroom pills. I take them. Bookmarks. I need like fucking 50 of them, etc., etc. And I love knives and stuff like that. I am choosy about who I allow to sponsor the channel in the merchandise sense, because I have to actually value the product. If I didn't agree with it in an ideological sense, didn't want to use it, wasn't interested in it, I thought it was low quality, I would never pitch it to my audience. It would never happen. But I do like silver. I've got a great deal of it in my safe, and I just purchased a bunch more from the sponsor that is as yet to be named. I'll be showing that off, trust me, in one of the readouts that I'm going to be doing. But I won't do that yet. It's scheduled, the first one, for next week. Had to sign a contract and stuff, but again, it's a reliable company. It's not a sham. It's not a scam or anything like that. I love silver, although I don't invest in gold, so I'm doing that shit. Joey Tigers is very gay, like gay X2. All right, let's talk about this. I'm going to give my analysis of this article. Links in the description, by the way, and pinned at the top, my books blog, by the way. If you want to help support the channel by buying books, getting something tangible in return, you can always do that as well. If you like the occult, you know, Halloween's only a few months away. Basically, this time of year, I'm prepping for fall and Halloween and stuff like that. It's like there's 6 more weeks in the growing season reliably in the state of Vermont. It's a little bit like living in Skyrim, just to be clear, and not in the Rift. More like in the cold, snowy north. Kamala Harris's Michael Dukakis moment. Now, backstory. Michael Dukakis, Democratic candidate running against Herbert Walker. He shot out of the gate with a huge lead, and then it slowly receded, and then, you know, he got completely crushed, and nobody even knows who he is unless you're a political analyst. Nobody even fucking remembers him, who's again, not geared towards politics like I am. 90% of you have probably never heard the name Michael Dukakis, for example. And the clankers are more cued into politics than the general public. You're here on this channel probably for political analysis, mainly, most of you. But you may never have heard of this particular candidate because he was completely irrelevant. You heard of George W. You heard of John Kerry, probably. You remember some people from more recent years. Dukakis is a non-issue. He's still alive, by the way. He did run a reasonably competent campaign, and people got buyer's remorse about Herbert Walker real quick. And Dukakis is like, fuck myself. If I had only waited 4 years, I could have, he clearly would have won. Clinton mode. Wasn't a bad candidate. Not a terrible dude. He's an old school neoliberal, so not like Kamala the psychopath. Just sort of like a Mondale Democrat or something like that. Similar in many respects, or a Clintonian. Kamala Harris is not having a Michael Dukakis moment. She's not shooting out of the gate 7 points ahead, number one. And number two, she's not nearly as likable as somebody like Michael Dukakis was. At the very least, he was coherent and didn't laugh at dead children. It was not considered funny to him. What she's more like is John Kasich. If John Kasich had become nominee, he would have gone on to lose against Hillary Clinton. When, though, he was in the primaries, right? I minted the term the Kasich effect. The basic premise is that if a candidate is not known as much, they have an advantage. Absent a fleshed out platform that the general public understands, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, name recognition, you know what they stand for, you've seen a bunch of speeches of them, they've got public exposure. Effectively, they become generic candidate of a partisan nature versus somebody that you know. Everyone knew who Hillary Clinton was, for example. Kasich bragged about the fact that in polling, he polled the best against Hillary, and he was correct in the aggregate and in most individual polls. But that's because the public didn't know much about him. Had he risen up, become a mainline candidate, if he had gotten to cruise territory or something, people would have soured on him. Because the more platforms and platform planks that you put out, the more people know about you, the more people you fucking alienate. Some people become hardcore supporters. Some people become soft supporters. Excuse me. I think the trees are fucking again. And then some people are completely alienated and fucking hate you. Kamala Harris is having the Kasich effect right now. Everyone knows Joe Biden's platform. Well, the parts of the platform that he put out there. His policies, who he is, sitting president, incumbent, everyone knew. So they could judge him versus Trump. Which one do I prefer? Kamala is not as well known by the public. She was an absentee vice president. She's just barely begun campaigning. The fact that you see some new polls that show her narrowly ahead is the Kasich effect. People are saying it's generic Democrat that I don't know much about versus Trump, who I know everything about. That's the long and short of it. You've got months left in the campaign. She's going to have to debate. She's going to have to give rallies and speeches and stuff. She's going to have to make videos and do other screwy shit, and she'll probably fuck up. The Kasich effect will begin to wear off within a month, in my opinion. At that point, Trump will return to his normal lead in polling, in my opinion. She's got all the baggage from the Biden administration without having the incumbency. Plus, she's got the whole border czar issue that the legacy media and big tech are desperately trying to cover up, and they will be ultimately, in my opinion, unsuccessful about. This is not a Dukakis moment. This is a Kasich moment. If Kasich had been nominee, of course, again. That's my analysis. So I agree with the basic premise of the article that she's like another recent politician. It's just they got the politician wrong. Terminator Trav, looks like we're live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. Link in the description, archived, of course. That's about all. Peace out. Yeah, 10.2 and clank. Thank you. Shellbell0106, you're my absolute favorite commentator. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for your brilliance. Thank you very much for your donation. I'm glad that I'm infotaining you. Much more to come, by the way, over the coming years. I don't intend to ever stop doing what I was doing. Even if someone had me 10 mil and I could retire, I wouldn't retire from doing what I'm doing right now because I fucking love it. Pepe Payne, in a true shit hits the fan where monetary means little, you'd want resources over commodities. I have metals, but also bulk tobacco, alcohol, coffee, and lead. Lead is good to stack too. I've got plenty of that. Vices become more important than money when shit hits the fan. Also, having land, water resources are important, crops, and also skills. Having skills, a skill set. is the most important thing of all. But you're still going to need a medium of exchange. Nobody's going to be using paper money. If it's not being printed, it'll slowly degrade away anyway, wrecking the economy. Silver and gold will still be there. That's why I'm going to be promoting it. T-Finger, yay, more weekend content. Yeah, I had to make up for Thursday. The number 6. Good jobs, good wages, good jobs, good wages. Choo-choo. Yeah, that's what we get under Trump, yeah. Matthew Hammond. 5 Guys Cajun fries are amazing. Agreed. Is the media pushing push polls to make fortification more accepted if it happens, or do they actually believe it? They're missampling at the moment. Also, again, you've got the Kasich effect in effect at the moment as well. Libertarian spirit. Sticks, try ginger and lemon and cut sugar. It might be natural antihistamine. I like ginger and lemon, and I don't really eat sugary foods. I almost never eat anything that's been artificially sweetened. I'll put a little bit of sugar in a tomato sauce, and I adjust it depending on what's going on. Like with pizza, a little sweeter. With chili, you only need a very small amount, et cetera, et cetera. And I do it that way. But I don't really eat refined sugars at all. Like almost never. A little bit in the coffee is perfectly fine. But other than that, I maybe ingest like a gram of sugar a day. I think the daily allotment under the FDA's guidelines is like 45 grams. I never drink soda. I never eat dessert or anything like that. My idea of dessert is an extra piece of biltong. Mike the Womp. Clank, motherfuckers. Sunbathed in my kayak earlier with just a pair of shorts. Really good for mental health. Hope everybody is good. Sunbathing is fun. BW, so I am late. What to make of this polling? They sure seem to think she's going to win. What are we going to do if she wins? America will be lost for good. No, but it'll be crippled. It'll be paraplegic for 4 years. So definitely go in, knock on doors, harvest ballots, do whatever. You bring your reluctant friend to the polls. Make sure to vote early just in case you're sick on election day. We need to pull out all the stops, do everything we can. Bald chicken. Why voting early matters? One would think it would allow them extra time to counter incoming votes with their printers. Yeah, but again, on voting day, you may actually be sick or something. COVIDian lockdowner. Trump is done. Stick a fork in Trump. He's done. Sticks will shut his channel down. Sticks will bow down to Alan Lichtman and suck his cock. MAGA is dead. MAGA is over. MAGA is done. See some spamming going on over there. It's okay for a little while, but if you keep doing the thing, I'll mute you for a while. I'll give you a timeout. I'll punish you. Sumerian, but Dukakis lost, didn't he? Yeah, that's another similarity with Kamala, probably. The Siren, Clank. The Siren got nominated for Hollywood Independent Music Awards. Didn't win, but still a win. New vid soon, brother. 432 hertz into the mainstream. Yeah, great band, by the way. Look up their music. Steve Resurrected. You sure Trump can win even with the fortification? Most of it's gone now. So, yes. George Crozer. Hey, Sticks, if I started a channel on YouTube about cooking and had a part set to Disco Inferno, would you come dressed in a velvet ruffled tux, dance, and then teach me a recipe of yours? If you were to make a recipe channel, I would consider making a guest appearance, but not in a ruffled tux. BB, Elon shared a right-wing edit of Kamala's ad. I saw that. I actually shared it out. It was great. Devin Fritz. Hi, Sticks. Paper for the state. Silver if you're down. King of Biltong. Good morning from Anton's Meat and Eat. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on BiltongUSA.com and AntonsUSA.com. Use STICKS10 for 10% off if your order qualifies for free shipping. Clank. Trust me, you should try the Biltong if you haven't already. Again, I don't promote anything that I don't personally support. I support the fucking Biltong. Need some more of the Carbonasi, actually, come to think of it. BW. Another thing, if it's possible, everyone should try to vote in a liberal area, especially in Maricopa. Yeah, everyone should go vote. Don't stay home and get black-pilled or anything like that. M. Tyler 11 Sticks. What is the ketchup you use? It's the Simply version of Heinz. So it doesn't have corn syrup in it. It uses cane sugar. There's all sorts of varieties of it that you can get. I don't like gunking up my intestines and liver and shit with corn syrup. I got enough poison to pound my body with without eating a bunch of soy and corn. Only good corn is like corn on the cob. It's growing out there. I flooded it with high nitrogen fertilizer and gave it blood meal the other day. I don't know how good it's going to do, though. The cobs are a little on the small side. This is Politico. We've got to address one of the weirdest tweets that I think that I've seen. Keep in mind that Trump was literally shot not long ago when you read this. Link in the description. You can read it for yourself. Come on, this is Politico. Kamala Harris faces greater security risks because she's a woman and a person of color. Again, the liberal version of colored person, it's literally the same goddamn meaning. They used to be considered a pejorative. And the Secret Service is almost certainly taking that into account, said retired agent Jeff James. Q&A with James on how the agency should navigate the challenging moment. So you're talking about boosting security for a presidential candidate. That's fine. Trump requested that his security detail be boosted multiple times and was denied, and then he got shot. Kamala Harris, to be clear, does not face more danger than any other candidate. The idea that a presidential candidate, based on the color of their skin or what's dangling or not dangling between their legs, in her case it probably is, because she fucked her way to the top, is completely irrelevant. Every presidential candidate, in fact, every politician is potentially fodder for having someone attempt to harm them. Rand Paul's been assaulted. Steve Scalise was shot. I've noticed that left-wing politicians are conspicuously less likely to have someone attack them, which is interesting because I heard that the suspenders-snapping far-right gun owners are the violent ones. Well, it seems that that's not actually the case. It seems to be a bunch of left-wing psychos more than anything else. Supposedly, the Trump assassin would-be was posting liberal shit on Gab, actually, where that I don't believe has been confirmed, and they probably won't investigate it at all, but that's supposedly the case. It seems like massively lopsided, like 80% left-wingers and liberals are the ones doing the actual shooting. I point out, the majority of gun violence in the United States is gang-related, inner-city, handgun-related, and probably involves people that aren't card-carrying members of the NRA. This has been the case for a very long time. The days of the suspender-snapping hillbillies with the Klan robes taking their shotgun and going into the black neighborhood, those died a long, long time ago. No, now these days, it's often black-on-black crime. There's a lot of crime in certain urban areas. Urban voters tend to lean to the left or liberal much more than they tend to be conservative. And once in a while, you get some redneck who pops off, but it's much less common. They're more likely to just punch each other. Well, that usually doesn't involve death from the injury. It's a little bit different from getting shot. Trump came within a half an inch of his life. And the shooter was not a conservative. The fact that he was a registered Republican apparently had to do probably with shenanigans within the primary there in Pennsylvania more than anything else. By the way, please send no more super chats. Again, I'm going to keep it a bit on the short side today because this is a supplemental stream. Faisalar, hey Sticks, what do you think of Iggy Pop as the king of punk? Iggy Pop's pretty cool. No, I think the king of punk, though, is Gigi Allen. George Crozer, it's a deal. I'm nearby. Gonna hold you to that. Yeah, I can make my own pasta sauce, and I make it fucking excellently. So grab some tomatoes and zucchinis and lots of garden fresh herbs, and yeah, I'm game. Libertarian spirit, Trump probably the only person who can finish endless war in Ukraine. As a Russian watching elections nervously, Biden admin brought disaster. Yeah, in the end, I think that Trump would strong-arm your country, actually. And there would be a negotiated peace. Nobody will get everything that they want, but in the end, hey, a bunch of people don't have to get fucking shot and bombed. I would think that that's an improvement. I long for the day that I can visit Russia and Ukraine without getting thrown in a fucking gulag, by the way. I'd probably get thrown in the gulag in either country based on my views on politics. I mean, all I want is some borscht. I guess I'll have to go to Poland. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. I really want to see the Carpathians. Romania is pretty cool, too. I'd like to see Vlad's castle. But, yeah, Polish food sounds good right now. Lots of beets and stuff like that. Lots of cabbage. And there's nothing wrong with that. Plus, Poland's a fun country. Yeah, I'd love to see Russia and Ukraine. But, I mean, legally speaking, I might get detained and put in the rock quarry for 5 years. And the Biden administration's definitely not going to negotiate my release. The Trump admin might. The Biden administration would say, oh, well, we're really sorry. we sent the U.S. Agent comes over and talks to you when you're in the rock quarry cell. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. You know, you're not worth it, you know, basically. But they got Grinner out. Yeah, if you're a basketball player, all of a sudden it's a big fucking deal. Max Attack. I find it funny how much right-wingers on X are gnashing their teeth about Harris running behind Trump by 1.7 during her honeymoon phase as if that's bad. Yeah, that's the point. This is the Kasich period for the next month or so. Harris will lose support, especially when she has to debate Trump. Trust me. I promise you she will lose at the debate. It's basically a matter of how much she loses by more than anything. Although in the polls, expect them to do push polling and say, well, you know, the View audience agrees that Kamala Harris won or something. They'll still try to blackmail. We had a fire tornado in California. By the way, apparently the wildfires there currently were started on purpose by a middle-aged dude who rolled a burning car into a gulch or something along those lines. He did it on purpose, trying to get rid of the vehicle. Maybe he just wanted to get rid of the vehicle, but then he started a wildfire. I saw footage the other day, and this footage is insane. You should see it for yourself. I mean, it's pretty fucking wild. Yes, if you get enough fire and smoke in one place, it will start to exhibit tornadic activity. You can also get a tornado that goes through an area that's already on fire, and then it lights the tornado on fire because it's got burning debris floating everywhere. Imagine it hits like a septic field, like one of those big septic tanks with like cow shit or human shit in it, and then it becomes literally a shitnado. There's a movie called Sharknado. I really want to see it because it looks absolutely insane. I've got to see that at some point. And Cocaine Bear, although that got mixed reviews. Apparently there wasn't enough cocaine in it. Yeah, apparently it was started on purpose or by a human, rather, at least. And it's burned, you know, an enormous amount of land. And it's out of control at the moment. They have not contained the wildfire going on. This has been addressed in the past in California by controlled burns. You know, you have favorable weather conditions and you burn out the underbrush so that you have less of a chance for a fire to start in the first place. But due to so-called environmentalism, which is really NIMBYism more than anything, they're not really allowed to do that anymore. And so it's become a big problem. And so you have fire tornadoes. The blaze has forced mandatory evacuations in Butte, where California's deadliest wildfire, the Camp Fire, killed more than 80 people in 2018. The 400-strong population of Cohasset has already been moved as the fire burns largely out of control. So they're evacuating more and more people. California Fire said that 34 structures had been destroyed while 4,200 remain threatened. And there's more footage of it. Yeah, and there's, I think, a picture of the car, the burning car, the original one, actually there in a pile of ashes. So you have fire tornadoes. How wonderful. That's totally great. All you have to do is burn out the underbrush in controlled burns, and then you don't have to worry about wildfires as much. I accidentally lit the tree trunk that's out back, the one from the silver maple, on fire during an episode when I first got back here. I was burning some trash. Don't worry, I don't burn like plastic or anything like that. You're allowed to burn like wood, debris, and cardboard and stuff in the state of Vermont. But a piece of the debris went up in the tree and it was dry. And I had thought it had rained the day before. So, you know, it's going to be perfectly okay because the tree is like a giant chunk of sponge anyway. It'll sponge up the moisture. Nope, it wasn't okay. And I look over at the tree. The top and the crotch of the tree that's still left there were on fire. Now, this is only about 25 feet from the house. I'm like, shit. Thankfully, I was able to rig up the hose and start spraying it down. I had to call my dad, who was thankfully here in the house at the time. And I'm like, Dad, you need to bring the ladder. I need to get up there because I couldn't spray the top of the tree. I could suppress it on the sides and I could put out the crotch of the tree, but I couldn't get up in there. I'm like, the tree is pretty much hollow. It's like a giant bong at the moment. There's smoke fuming up out of it. And I'm at the same time, I'm trying to put out the original fire to keep anything else from getting lit up. So I call him out. I'm like, you need to bring the ladder. So he brings the ladder. I had to clamber up onto the top of this fucking tree trunk that I wish I could just have mulch down, but my mom refuses to let it go. She thinks it's decorative and says, well, there's birds living in there. And I actually destroyed a bird's egg in the process of stripping part of the side of the tree off to make it less flammable. This was the day after. So I climb up and I'm aiming the hose into the hollow area at the top of the tree that's been rotted out, and it's like dry as tinder. It took me like half an hour to put out this fucking fire. I was able to suppress it successfully. I sprayed down the tree. Even after the smoke is gone, I sat there for an extra 10 minutes just spraying it down to sponge up that liquid. It was an interesting experience, let's put it that way. But there was a bunch of dead wood. It was literally like tinder. It was like powdered wood sitting in the crotch of the tree where the old biggest branch had been. And then the main trunk went up 5 feet further. And there's rope in it and stuff from, I can't remember what the fuck was on the tree at the time. And it was burning. And it went inside of the tree. There was smoke coming out of holes inside of the tree where the birds and bugs and shit have hollowed it out. It's basically a giant pipe. It's a huge fire hazard, and I want to get rid of it. And at some point, I'm going to, without my mother's knowledge. It's just going to be gone. We'll see if she notices. But yeah, I mean, I was worried that the fire department was going to show up and yell at me or something like that, give me a fine. Because unbeknownst to me, there was a burn ban at the time when I did this. I thought, well, it poured rain the other day. Nothing's going to be flammable. It's all been soaked in, and this wood is basically a sponge. Nope, I was wrong. Yeah, that was interesting. Libertarian spirit. Technically, I don't have a country anymore. Stolen by commies in 1917. At least you can refer to great people like Thomas Jefferson. We have nothing. Well, Russia is still a great country. It's just, Vladimir Putin has authoritarianism issues, and you happen to be in a war. I'd still like to visit Russia someday, though. I'd like to see, I guess I'd like to see Kamchatka. I'd like to see the Ural Mountains. I'd like to eat some of the interesting food. Your MREs are good, so, your military definitely designed one hell of a winner with the new Russian MREs. Oh, some of the spreads in there are delicious. You should try one. Andrew Shepard, my first time catching sticks live. Clank on. Thank you very much. Wasted Bonehead, good morning from the grave. Boo, did I spook anyone? Not quite. I mean, Kamala Harris is a presidential candidate. It's going to take a little bit more than that to spook me. SC Woods, good eye, mate. Clank. Wasted Sticks, who's going to go first, Jimmy Carter or Joe Biden? Honestly, my money is on Jimmy Carter living longer. Yeah, he can't die until the last giddy worm is snipped in half. Waylon Jennings, you see the video that Elon shared from Mr. Regan? It's a parody, but within 14 hours, it's gotten 65 million views. It's hilarious. Yes, I actually shared it out. And then the final news story, and please, again, send no more super chats. I'm going to try to keep this under 50 minutes because I want to eat something at some point today other than just Biltong. You eat a little bit of that once in a while. It's nice and filling. Top Sinaloa cartel leaders, including son of El Chapo, taken into U.S. custody, according to the DOJ. They did a sting operation on Thursday. It's good news, but here's the problem that I have. Here's the big problem. The Biden administration is saying, well, we've scored a great victory. Praise us for taking out the Sinaloa leaders. Problem number one, they'll just get new leaders. Or they'll tunnel them out of prison or something like I think they did with El Chapo or whatever. Then they'll free them. Problem number two, your old boss, Obama, armed the Sinaloa cartel with automatic weapons, killing a U.S. border agent during Fast and Furious. Do you remember that with Eric Holder, your good bestie? That's very interesting that the Biden administration would bite the hand that feeds it, because supposedly you armed Sinaloa in order to fight off other more violent cartels in the area, thus giving them U.S. support and saying, look, you calm down. Don't run too many drugs. Shh, keep it quiet. The CIA will help you, and probably Mitch McConnell with his cocaine yacht. But gun them down. Fight the other cartels and muscle them out, and we'll work with you to restore stability and shit like that. Fast and Furious, a huge scandal under the Obama admin. Who was the vice president at the time? It was Joe Biden. Oh, that's very interesting. It was Sinaloa that you were literally arming at the time. You were second in command at the executive level in the administration. Now you're bragging about taking out their leaders. Why? It's the same concept as how the U.S. armed Iraq under Saddam Hussein in the 70s and 80s. As soon as Saddam got a big dick about things and flipped on us, all of a sudden he was a terrorist. He was supplying uranium to guerrilla fighters. He was trying to make nukes and all of these. He had thousands of tons of botulism and all these other things, and we had to invade. The same is happening currently with Sinaloa. Sinaloa stopped working nicely with the U.S. government for one reason or another behind the scenes, and all of a sudden their leaders are taken out. The U.S. government can be very, very fickle. It's the same administration. This is Obama's third term anyway that we're on. If Kamala gets elected, it'll be Obama's fourth term, based on the fact that he quite clearly muscled in for the VP pick. Very interesting. Silver Shadow sent $5. No comment. Thank you very much. Not a banned account. May we please have your permission to have our SOs roleplay as Stick Sex and Hammer for us? Asking for a friend. Yeah, I mean, if you're into that, yeah, that's fine. You can have, I don't care if people make AI porn of me as long as I get a cut of the proceeds if you're commercializing it. I really don't care. If you want to use my voice or my image and make like fakes of me, as long as you're not monetizing them, I don't give a damn. I don't care what you have me doing. Say the terriblest shit in the whole world and it doesn't matter to me. You can have me saying the most you can have me as Marquis de Sade. It's not going to bother me. If you make money off of it, though, you'll get sued unless you negotiate with me first and give me a cut. Well, if you want to do work for me by making deep fakes of me, I have no problem with that as long as I'm getting my negotiated amount. I love commerce, I'm a capitalist. I'm unrepentant about this. But yeah, if you want to have somebody dress up as me and before you fuck them or something like that, that's okay. I'm not sure whether you're a gal or a dude, actually. So, it might be a little bit weirder if it's a girlfriend of yours. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're gay or so. I don't know. I don't ask people about their personal lives very much because I don't care. You do you. Or other people, as long as it's all consensual and it's only adults, there's no animals or kids or something, go ahead. Daphne Wick sent $4.99. No comment. Thank you very much. Obsidian. What? LMAO. Yeah, no, I'm pro-sexuality, I'm sex positive, but not in the leftoid sense. I think that everyone should have orgasms all the time. We should be more like bonobos and less like chimps. Instead of waging war, why don't we just have orgies? The winning country is the one, your people manage to fuck more or something like that. That would be a good idea. We could save lives and possibly make more lives, and people have happy orgasms. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as it's consensual. Yeah, we'll send a mix of male and female soldiers into battle, but the battle is how many people can you screw in a 24-hour period? You have people tabulating it like, hey, your kill score is at 5 already. Jesus, dude, slow down. You're gonna have a heart attack. Yeah, lemon curd, I can't do that because I have things that I must do. Mostly gardening stuff. Women wage war much more often. Well, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Especially in a country that has not had a female commander-in-chief before. If you have a female commander-in-chief, they're going to want to prove themselves twice as much. One thing you want to do to be with the big boys is start a war and show that you can win it. And that's what I really worry about with Kamala. I would rather that the first female president be someone like Tulsi. She's actually been in the military, so she knows shooting and stuff like that. It is not something that's to be glorified and is fun and heroic. And seems like, if not an isolationist, at the very least, a non-interventionist. I would like Tulsi Gabbard to be the first female president. And she's a former Democrat, so, they'd vote for her too. I still think she should be running mate at the moment. Lev Polyakov. Yo, Sticks, what's that flower stuff to your left? Hope we do the Kamala debate versus Armand soon. Cheers. That's just some tea, some chamomile that I gathered from the garden. There's a shit ton more out there. I'll be harvesting that probably tomorrow. Shay Costello sent $9.99. No comment. Thank you very much. Bots are superior spammers is the only point I'll concede. Trump will win and you'll be out of a job. Yeah, see, there is a little bit of a problem. If Trump wins, in 4 years, he can't run again because he's at a second term. So then we have to do the guessing game about, in an open primary, who's going to be the Republican nominee. I would love Rand Paul to run, but he seems to be more geared towards trying to take over leadership in the Senate. Rubio will probably run again. He's young enough. Cruz might run. So it'd be like 2016 redux in that sense. Vance, assuming that Trump is elected, he's the heir apparent because he would have the vice presidential role. So you could see Vance run, although he's a mixed bag. JD Vance. There's some good things about him. He is well spoken, but then he's got some baggage as well. But he's in the right age range, and he'd have experience on the job in the executive capacity. So we'll see what happens. We'll have to wait until, we're not even done with the 24 election. Let's wait on the 28 election with regards to running mates and stuff like that. All right. Anyway, I thank you to the almost 5,000 people who tuned in live. I've got to get going, actually, after talking about masturbation and how we should fight wars by fucking each other instead of shooting each other and stuff like that. Be a better world. You have a fuck contest or something like that. So, yeah, I'll let you go here. I'll be back on Monday. Tomorrow is the day of rest, of course. At the Olympics, they had a mockery of the day of rest, of course. That was a little bit on the bizarre side. No, by the way, that was not an occult ritual or anything. It was just people being fucking artsy-fartsy degenerates. The opening of the Olympics was cuckoo. It was definitely one of the worst. And, we did see that opening to the Olympics that one time years ago where they had the people in the hospital beds right before the Voldemort disease broke out. And that was a little bit, it was a little bit on the nose. So, yeah, I don't give a fuck about the Olympics. I like the Animal Olympics, though, that old cartoon from like the 80s or 90s or whatever. That's the only Olympics I want to watch. That was always fun. Every summer they would have that on. Anyways, I'm going to let everyone go. That's about all. Peace out.